I've got loads of screenshots, but I don't ever remember stuff happening. I don't know if it's the same for you.
Exactly. No, legit, it's exactly the same with me. Yeah. Infuriating. Yeah, I screenshotted loads of stuff. I send you stuff. That's my way of screenshotting. Instead of screenshot, I just send you live off air. We can't discuss. Well, actually, there's one I've sent you, which is kind of. Are we started recording, by the way? Or is this still off?
Yeah, it's on. It's on. It's a thing. It's happening.
It's on. Well, let's just begin. Well, just randomly off the bat. Late last night, it got confirmed that David the Animal Batista is now joining Daniel Craig in Knives Out. Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy is in Knives Out too, coming 2024.
Onto Netflix, isn't it, as well? Because they paid what, 75 mil?
Oh, really? Is that how much the money?
They paid for the sequels, didn't they? Do we talk about that?
Yeah, it's 2 and 3. I don't know if we actually did.
I think there's something we probably did. I don't know. I don't know anymore. Don't even know what's the point. What is the point in this podcast? Episode 149? Is it 49?
I think.
Where is it? I don't even know why I'm looking at the thing. Yeah, 149. Yes. We got some new subscribers this week. Hello.
Oh, did we actually?
We're now on 245.
Oh, yes, mate. Yes.
5 away from the big time. And then that's halfway to what we want. So our next giveaway will be at 500. I know we did the last one, February?
Yes.
I have sent that off. There's been financial stuff, so I do apologise to Dan, the man. But it is on the way. I apologise. But we'll get better at this. I know, I feel motivated today. I had a haircut, so I feel cleaner.
Yeah, you feel fresh. No, you look fresh. Yeah, cleaner. That's the word. Yeah, cleaner, fresh. Clean and fresh.
We could be in the same room next week.
Oh, well. Yeah. So that's from Monday, because we thought previously that the cinemas are going to open the 17th, but everything was previously the 17th. But then it came out last night that the UK cinemas, i.e. Cineworld, again Odeon, they haven't exactly said if they're opening the 19th or they're just going to be not. But next Wednesday we were able to actually see some movies, at least from this year.
Excited.
Yeah.
Like we can touch, but not sexually.
Oh, never sexually. It's a piece of art.
Was it like close, close but not intimate contact? That's what they put on the fucking brief or something, wasn't it? I don't know. I don't care.
Oh, okay.
Most people have been doing it now anyway, haven't they?
Oh, yeah.
Because now it's 6 inside, 30 outside. Yeah. Everyone's going to go, Bondo! And then June is when it's going to go off. Everyone will do whatever the fuck they want. Which some people have been doing the whole
pretty
time.
much.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
If you hosted a rave in a church, you're mental. Jesus doesn't like loud music, if he did exist. Which, historically, we know.
Whoa, I'm getting into it. Whoa! The last sensation.
Am I getting too real?
Whoa!
Right, I'll stop. Just in case if any one of the new 15 odd subscribers is religious, we do apologise. We apologise to everyone.
We don't talk about religion. Like George tends to talk about politics and something that someone political in the suit has said, but never about holy crosses and baptism and holy water. Never. Unless it's about vampires.
If you want something that is like, this is escapism. If this is a bit of a long intro, isn't it? But
you can tell.
Culture, stuff that doesn't really matter in terms of the time period of things, because eventually we're all just going to die anyway. So let's enjoy it. Welcome. If you do want all the normal other stuff.
Have you ever seen a television programme called The News?
That's what that's for.
That sounded like my audio. What was that? What was
Jeremy
that?
Clarkson saying, have you ever seen a television programme called The News?
Oh.
So that's what that's for. Yes, so movies, pop culture, stuff.
stuff.
I don't know, we haven't
Yes,
explained it in a while. I don't know. I feel like we have to now that we have like 16 new people.
Yeah, what movies? We have to explain movies.
Movies are like long adverts. In Sony's case,
Yeah.
they're just a big advert. Like, what was it that was it? Amazing Spider-Man 2 had like some of the most product placement ever. Something like that.
Pretty much, yeah. I can't think what off the top of my head. I mean, it was all Sony products, wasn't it? Of course, because it's
Sony, and then you
Sony.
got like all the restaurants and stuff, and the cars. And, whereas MCU's mainly like Audi and
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
Audi,
so
yeah.
don't really know what else. If you can spot all the
No,
product placement in Iron Man,
iPhones,
Doctor-
Apple, iPhones. The
Do
Captain
they
America
use
stuff is
iPhones in the MCU.
Sharon Carter does.
I don't know, 'cause
In
they
Winter
just
Soldier
do,
and stuff.
like,
That's where they use
bog standard,
briefly.
basic,
It's only to get like messages and stuff. Yeah.
basic fucking smartphone, don't they? Then you never see because Hawkeye has he has an Android, doesn't he? Because you see when his wife's calling him in Endgame.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
always know Clint
Product
Barton was a radicalist in terms of technology. Okay, we know we spoke about religion earlier. That's not what it's. That is what we call a joke. Just like the people trying to cancel the 11th Doctor for
Who is
how
it
he was
now?
written, because we briefly touched upon that
Really?
last week. But learn the difference between characteristics of a fictional person and the horrible actions of an adult man. Did you see
Who
that?
is real?
Yeah. Do you see that second? Sorry, we should talk about this. We're going to try and breeze past this because we want to be happy this week. Did you see the second article?
Maybe.
I used
It-
that's
about
to,
Mr.
I don't-
Barron.
yeah, for him. He who must not be named.
Mr. Barron.
No, I was thinking more Noel, but you know.
Nothing to do with Noel, but I've seen another sort of
So
Captain Jack
like,
Harkness.
I think he's meant. Yeah,
related
like,
article.
Barrowman's mentioned in it. It talks about the specific like some of the specific instances on the set of Doctor Who, including they changed the names for obviously legal reasons and protecting their identity, because I'm assuming some of them still work at the BBC or in some kind of media job. So hopefully they haven't been failed recently like they were failed in 2005. Because one of them is the makeup person and the costume designer saying how he would like try and grab her and stuff, or just make sexual remarks out of nowhere in the conversation. One of them was the driver, the driver or the runner runs the person to and from set and generally just helps out. So a runner's they do all the heavy lifting, so to speak. Like, take this to so and so, get this sorted and organised. I want this person here by this time, blah blah blah. And they reported it to the assistant director, I think, at the time on the set. They won't say what story it was, when it was, and they basically took the person who'd complained that they didn't want to be Noel's driver anymore and gave them a different job. So instead of sorting out Noel, they just shafted the blame and gave them different duties to perform, which is a failure of society. And it's disgusting. We don't really
breach
dwell on it
of
too much.
contract.
But apparently the behaviour got a lot better, like the behaviour specifically for John, because he came back more often, because Noel only came back once, thank God. In hindsight, and it's bad, isn't it? Like, we were looking forward to possibly seeing him again one day with his on-screen wife, Martha Jones, and now...
Exactly, and now it's just, I don't really want it.
Taran in the face.
Potato head, buy that potato.
Yes. If I need a psychotic potato dwarf, you'll be the first to know. What was I saying? Yeah, so the behaviour with regards to that got better when David took over, because he was
Right.
from all accounts.
Absolutely,
Thank God. And we have to stress, as far as we know, because this could and I really hope it doesn't.
No, because we at Hasty Predicts, we kind of have said things before and things have kind of come to light. We've predicted things. we a YouTube channel, mate, a second channel.
Fucking hell, we
We
barely fucking
predicted
smashed the first yet.
Nah,
Yeah, but so
fuck it.
apparently,
Very stupid.
you'll be thankful to know that David, as far as to our knowledge, behaved impeccably throughout his tenure, and so much so that sort of, I'm guessing, sort of made John look and go up, like, oh, maybe I'll calm down a bit. And he did get told off by the BBC in 2008 after the incident on the tortured set. I think it was with a guest star, because he used to, like, obviously just expose himself. That was his, I think, referred to by one of the people they interviewed as his thing. Like, it didn't make anyone feel like unsafe, but it was just an uncomfortable thing of like he's got his genitalia
His
out
thing out, yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
Obviously, that we talked about it on the last one. Go and have a look if you want to, and seek out any other stories on it if you feel like you should, because it's a horrible thing. And what am I saying? Yeah. So obviously, like stuff like that, it was known, and I think Elizabeth Sladen was the only one he didn't do it to in terms of guest stars or like companions, because she said like she knew of it, but he thankfully never did it to her. I'm guessing to everyone else. There was someone on the back to Nicky, should we say Pricky? He
Sticky.
What is it? There was one. Yes. Anyway, not David. I'm confusing my names. I'll finish the John one. John got reprimanded for an incident on the tortured set. He was like reprimanded by the BBC. We've had, I think, comments from Julie Gardner and Russell T Davies, the executive producer at the time, who Russell said he had like no idea, but also like it was worded as like he'd never seen him do it, so as if maybe like he'd heard about it, but it never happened in front of him, and basically said like if any of this like had been apparent to me, like with either of them, he would have acted straight away, which is thank God he said that. Obviously it's only a word, you know, people are going to dig and read into that as you will, like they're debating how true or false these things can be. If you're going to go for that, you know, there's stuff in every kind of thing. Julie said pretty much the same, that there was she was shocked and deeply upset by the fact that this had happened and that she basically knew nothing about it. So I have a feeling that in terms of the Noel stuff, I don't think they knew, and the John stuff probably had heard it, or at least knew of it, and it had not been acted upon until it had become when one of the higher ups basically like reprimanded him, and he since then apparently, which was like 2008, that then he'd calmed down severely, and obviously over the last decade or so he has changed because he's got older and has, because a lot of people are calling him sacked from Dancing on Ice and stuff like that, and all the stuff he's doing at the moment. And it's a two-way thing of like, yes, you must always be held accountable and have consequences for your actions. If he's like never faced any before, but that's good. Yeah, call him, hold him to accountability, but also have the perspective of how much he has changed in that time, and he's clearly, from his social media, that he's clearly
not the same person that he was 10 years ago.
Yeah, not the same person is now. So yes, give him the punishments that he deserves, but also he is at a point where he can change and hopefully get better for the good. And hopefully this is all long ago, and if he I think what's damaging him most at the minute is he's not come out and said anything. Like this has been nearly 3 weeks around social media.
Yeah, it's been like a fortnight,
not on his Insta or Twitter. He's not said anything, or his Facebook page, and it's just maybe damaging to himself for not saying anything. Regardless, one way or the other, if he'd come out and said like, "Look, yeah, it happened. Like what happened is true. It's, you know, I'm really sorry. I should never have done it at the time. I thought this, blah blah blah. But I know now that it's very inappropriate that I did that." Who knows? If we get an apology out of him, I don't know. I hope we do, because I don't want it for him to sort of go too much the other way, and then because at that point it's like, well, Jack's kind of got to
kind of,
Kind of
he's
guy.
an anomaly.
Especially
He's an
with time-
anomaly in the vortex. Yeah.
Especially with Time Fracture coming up, because he just filmed the cameos to that, hadn't he? Him and old David Bradley. So it was literally like after that, and it's no, there's no hope. Don't bring Mickey back. Either recast him or kill him off. Maybe, I don't know. I think the debate on the future of Mickey Smith is a thing for itself. As like before, still gutted that this happened and no one ever knew about it. If we could have, I'd like to think that we can do something now in order to like use this to stop it happening again in all industries, really, because it's horrible. Anyway, shall we talk about something nice? Because
Yes. Sorry, political rant over.
yeah. So you were talking about Dave Bautista in Knives Out 2 at the top of this.
Yeah, very briefly.
Go for it, man.
Yeah, very briefly. Go for it. Yeah, so we kind of covered it a few weeks ago, but it was reported. Yeah, it came out a few weeks ago that Netflix had acquired the rights to the Knives Out franchise. And at least they're making 2 more sequels, as far as we're aware. There's no sort of production dates or start or filming time as like we know as of yet.
Well, assuming
Again,
if
give
they
it.
cast Batista, then they're in.
There's got to be some sort of yeah. But as far as I've googled, it's not come up with an actual like aim or date or anything.
Or not like a full,
yet.
yeah. I don't think we will for a
I mean,
little while, to be fair.
No. Okay, so Knives Out 2022, director Ryan Johnson, screenplay. Just says 22, but that's just as very vague as vague can be.
He's a villain, isn't he?
Is he the villain? I didn't actually read any of the articles. Dave
No,
Bautista
doesn't it
joins
say
the cast. He won't be coming to
mentioned
Netflix anytime soon. You'll see the return of Benoit Blanc. He's an undisclosed role. Undisclosed.
He'd be a good villain. Like he was meant
He
to
would
be.
be a good
Like he was meant to be in Spectre.
Yeah, he was just a weird shit Jaws equivalent that didn't even live up to Jaws.
With fingernails.
I totally forgot about it.
One gruesome death that you see, you don't really see him do anything else, and I think that's always been
You don't. No.
a shame.
But then you look at his other filmography, like Guardians of the Galaxy. He's a freaking space alien. He had one of the best comedies, like probably the most underlooked comedies in Stuba from 2019. Like that comedy was simply amazing with Camille Nanjiani.
Camille Nanjiani,
Amazing.
who I'm excited to see in Eternals still. Because we talked about the Scissor Rule
With
last
his-
week. Looks
With
great.
his six pack. With his six pack, yeah. With his like super ripped.
Yes. But no, I think he'd be. I'd like him to get more things of Dave Bautista. He is a good actor. I think, like we said before, like the debate is, in terms of acting quality of Rock, John Cena, and Dave Bautista. It's probably for me Bautista because he's really good at comedy, and I think giving him more serious roles like this will be nice to sort of see him develop more because John Cena's great at being like a comic book, like Saturday morning cartoon villain, and The Rock's good at making the same movie every other year.
Yes, that's the thing he is. Yeah, The Rock is.
Shirt and be in some kind of jungle or exploration thing, but. No, I look forward to it, man. I look forward to that whenever that comes out on Netflix, which is weird. Because speaking of Netflix, Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead or whatever it's called, Zombie Tiger the movie.
Yes.
It's getting Netflix's first theatrical release.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I feel like I was meant to mention that last week. We didn't. Does that mean for us in the UK we'll see it next week? Because I know it's this month. It's out this month. It's not out. Or is it June? I can't remember. Is it out now or in June?
I don't know. I don't pay attention. I've still not watched the Snyder Cut, so I don't really.
No,
I don't subscribe to it. I can't be asked.
When you do, let me know. But there's reviews. 14th of May in Spain. That's the usual. But upcoming. But when is it? May the 14th, United States. So 3 days time. This Friday, it should be out. I think.
Mm-hmm.
before streaming digitally on May 21st. All right, so we'll get it May the 21st, but for American audiences in select
So what do you reckon,
theatres,
first
you can watch
weekend?
it this Friday. Possibly. I mean, that'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Well, like, because I think what we're like saying, because obviously we expected it Monday because all those businesses could open from then. But then when you look at how cinema works, a lot more releases. Obviously, like it's always geared towards the weekend, but a lot more releases recently. Like before, if you look at, I think from about April to December of 2019, which was probably like the last sort of
big financial period.
You can't really judge 2020 because it was sort of like it was.
Oh no, exactly. No,
it was just getting started. Everything shut down and all that happened. So a lot more was sort of coming out like Thursdays, Wednesdays, as opposed to like a Friday or Saturday release, and so then it was almost like it could push it into a bigger weekend if like people wanted to come back, or sort of then it could like sort of peter out and die on its own if they didn't think much of it. So a Wednesday sort of that makes sense. So I wouldn't be surprised if we maybe got Army of the Dead on the Wednesday.
During the midweek. Yeah.
Possibly. It's nice to talk about movies coming out, man. I can't wait for Black Widow. I mean,
it genuinely is. Speaking of Black Widow, we got new images / posters, didn't we? It was just briefly like poses.
Look at you doing segues like this is your job. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, I mean, oh no, it's just me doing poses. You're looking.
Here's a gif of Sean Bean saying Yorkshire.
Yorkshire.
That is my favourite advert, man. I literally have to stop whenever that's on telly and watch it. You're just doing it for yourselves. You're doing it for Yorkshire. Anyway, sorry. Posters.
Yeah, images.
For that thing.
Yeah, the movie that should have come out almost 2 years to the day. So that was the mad article that I did send everybody I knew. At one point, Black Widow and Doctor Strange were meant to be released on the same day, literally like a couple of days ago in May. I don't know, May the 9th or something like that. Yeah, they were both meant to be released on the same day.
Doctor Strange or something like that, wasn't it?
I think, whatever day it was, but both movies at one point were meant to be released on the same day. Like, no, maybe not in the same year, but yeah, that was the.
Like, if you look at their original slots, and it was like. And then it might have they've moved to each other's slot at some point. It's weird that we would have got because we would have got Doctor Strange before Spider-Man, and now it's shifted the whole thing. Have they had to rewrite any of them? Because like Guardians, originally before James Gunn got fired, was obviously going to come out before Thor: Love and Thunder, so it would have seen Thor in it at some point anyway. So I wonder how have they just taken the scene they would have used in Thor and just flipped it so that. Then the Guardians and somewhere else. It's weird to think about. Like, I obviously got faith, but is it going to be a thing of like, oh, these came out in this order, but you actually want to watch it in like the true order of when they were
the intended order? Yeah.
Black Widow Eternal.
But that's.
I think just small rewrites will fix that, especially now they've released the whole thing officially. So I think that it's a point where. It will line up towards the end of the film.
Yeah.
Like if Shang-Chi then happens after Doctor Strange, like you'll notice or something like that. I don't know. I'd like to.
But while we're on this kind of subject, like again, we talk about what if the films were how different they will be from the final product and stuff. Chadwick Boseman. I mean, how different will Wakanda Forever turn out? Like the rumors, the supposed reports for the original Black Panther 2, whatever it is. The Atlanteans. Are they gonna Namor? Are they still gonna do that? Are they not gonna do it? Like, are they not gonna be used at all now? Or?
I think there was a caveat in the Black Panther one, especially because I think Coogler has since come out and said that he was aware of Chadwick's condition.
Right.
And obviously after his tragic loss, he would have either had a backup. Like idea or script, or they've rewritten the movie to then have it from whichever Black Panther takes up the mantle. Hopefully Nakia or M'Baku or even Daniel Kaluuya's character, whose name escapes me because he was good. And then you get Okoye and him. Like,
Okoye
almost being like the super couple of Wakanda, which would be quite cute. But
Ayo from Falcon Winter Soldier, Ayo as well.
It'd be good, yeah. Any of them. You could have like a Black Panther team, maybe. I don't know. But because they've said they're not going to recast him, maybe don't give it to Shuri after all the stuff Letitia Wright's been doing on social media, because that might draw some criticism. Which was that tweet ages ago, like fucking Ryan Coogler sighs as he has to rip up Black Panther 2 again and rewrite it for the third time or something, after she was saying about being an anti-masker and like anti-vaxxer and it was work of the devil or something. I don't know. I read into it if you want. I don't really want
to. People.
But yeah, I think so. They've either rewritten it from that point of view to whoever it will be, or like written a completely new movie for it to then suit whichever Black Panther character takes up the mantle. Should be in Kia.
Yes.
Nyong'o is technically his queen at the end of, as far as the events at the end of the last movie go, and she's a great actress. And in terms of representation and being out there, like having a woman leading the franchise as well would be another fucking major step.
Again, which is what Phase 4 has been all about. It's been diversity and change and just evolution, I suppose.
And this is essentially
and legacy.
Accident, really, isn't it? Because no one would have wanted or saw this coming. So we can hopefully make the best out of it and honour Chadwick's legacy and push forward, especially after Anthony Mackie was said like he feels now to like he
more obliged than ever
to step up for that audience that have then lost like Chadwick in terms of like an inspiration like for African Americans like that are male or identify as male and such, because that's a big hole that's been left, and I think that Captain America is definitely now going to sort of bring you some of that things and honour him in a way, and I think it's nice that everyone's been inspired by him to sort of kick on and keep fighting the fight for his name and what he started. And
absolutely.
I really look forward to Wakanda Forever. I think it will be emotional. Whether you look on it like in hindsight or in terms of the actual story that they tell, honouring a beloved actor who did a lot of good work between getting diagnosed and his untimely death. In that 4-year period, he did a lot of movies that were not terrible.
And a TV show that we'll be getting some point this summer called What If?
Yes.
Where he's basically Star-Lord or Star Panther. I don't know what you want to call him. Star Panther. I don't know. But then, while we loosely change subject, like I know it's like an animated, literally what if type. Oh, what if this happened instead of this? But do you think that What If show will somehow affect the MCU canon going forward, or is it just a nice little side project where we'll see like a bunch of what if?
Yeah, I feel like this is sort of an anthology thing of like, you know how the comics, it's like the what if comics themselves were just a thing of like, you know, things that people have always wondered, like what if this happened? It's just a thing of like acknowledging that or the wider storylines that they'd never sort of get to realistically, like Marvel Zombies, like stuff like that.
Yes.
It allows you to tell those stories in a thing of like, look, this is how it would look if the MCU did it, but we probably won't ever get round to doing it, or stuff like that. Sort of just almost like a love letter of like Easter eggs in terms of the stories and the characters that they can provide throughout the universe.
Well, I get then eventually multiverses.
But if we get Henry Cavill as Captain Britain, can you imagine?
Yes, I'm here for that. Yes, I'll be here for that. I just want more Cavill in things. I mean, Henry Cavill, best known for playing the darkest Superman we've ever seen in live film.
So dark. You sure not from the DC universe? He is actually.
Superman. That's Superman. That's Superman. I guess.
Yes, that's a thing that happened. Just like, so when people were sort of saying like, where's Blade and that, and fitting into Phase 4, because it was always sort of treated as Phase 5, and like people have said, like, because they've been talking about like getting writers and like they're looking for a director at the minute, the script's probably near the finalish form, near its final form, and we have like yet to have major casting about it, but obviously because it's been essentially talked about since 2019, really. Way after Endgame, stuff like that. It's sort of assumed it's further along. Like we're flipping to phase. Like, will it be in Phase 4, Phase 5? And Feige previously said 5, but obviously, like we know, the slate can chop and change. Like it stayed mostly the same from when they announced Phase 3, but there was a big old Spider-Man movie that they wedged in between, and then at the end after the Avengers movies. So anything can happen. It could get to a point where I think, because the only thing that worried me with the scissor reel is the closeness of all the release dates. Because essentially,
they are pretty close.
Essentially, it's backed up, really, isn't it? It's like they're finishing Doctor Strange, and they're looking for writers on Fantastic Four, which is at the end of the phase. Like you've got Black Widow's done, Shang-Chi's done, Eternals is done, and Spider-Man's wrapped, and then
really still me.
5 movies, and because you've lost a year where you would have had 2 movies out
of the way.
I think that will be the thing that will, because it's a superhero fatigue, that everyone's been moaning about. Like eventually, it's going to collapse in on itself, and there'll be too many superheroes and stuff like that. But Marvel has always had the quality, and there's like one at like April, May, sometimes one in July when they went to 3, and then you get one like in November, or like when Infinity War came out,
exactly,
like,
end of year.
You had February, April, July, and like over that period, like and then you have the gap, and we've liked having the gap from
absolutely,
but then it's, are we going to get fatigue when there's 2-3 months, basically every 2-3, sometimes 4 months we're going to have
months.
I think once they get them out and catch up, then it will go back to a more sort of
normal structure.
A 2-3, because I think any more than 2 or 3, like we're getting 4 this year.
Fingers crossed. We should be getting 4.
And that's in the last 6 months of the year. July, September.
That does sound a lot. When you say that does sound a lot.
December.
Yeah.
And then
that does sound a lot.
Later, you're going to get to see Benedict Cumberbatch again in Multiverse of Madness. So I hope that eventually it levels out, and once they sort of, go through the back catalogue that they've got, we've got this film lying around, we finally release it. But unlike New Mutants,
they're the new BBC archives. They're the new BBC archives. They've had this like the lost movies, the lost episodes from the last like 2-3 years.
Yeah. So it is being planned to shoot in 2022, like June, for Blade. So we shall see.
Oh, for Blade, okay, yeah.
Speaking of the archive, because you do mention the archive. According to the Mirror, so I don't really believe it, because tabloid journalism is evil. Exclusive Lost Doctor Who episodes starring William Hartnell to be regenerated as cartoons. So the Mirror reporting that Galaxy 4 is the next animation treatment, even though we've still got Evil of the Daleks, because they linked the test footage on YouTube. Did you watch the test footage?
Yeah. When you mentioned it, he did. Galaxy 4, sure, but
they found an episode, didn't they? Like 4 or 5 years ago.
They did, and they had a reconstruction. I think it's Teddy Snaps it anyway on one of the special edition DVDs. I think it might be the Aztecs, like 2013-ish.
The Aztecs.
You can technically watch it in a way. You can watch it
in a way,
not properly. In a way, but I want the Toy Maker. Give me Celestial Toy Maker.
Celestial Toy Maker all day long.
It's only the last episode. Yeah,
it'd be nice that we're actually going to get some Hartnell animation.
Exactly. Yeah, because we're near the end of Troughton. There's only like 2 or 3 more for Troughton.
Would you rather they finished off Troughton or then went to Hartnell for a bit of, and because otherwise, you're just going like, and all that's left is Hartnell, and people are going to be like, that guy, who cares?
Who's that? Yeah, no, they're so close yet so far.
In 2017, when Peter Capaldi exploded and never returned. It's like, no. His arm went yellow and regenerated, and he went off camera, and then it never happened. And we had David Bradley instead. I have to go now. My planet needs me. Cara June died on the way back to her own planet. But she got nominated for an Emmy, I think.
She did, exactly. She's still, considering all of her backlash. Yeah.
That's not good.
I don't understand that.
Anyway, Galaxy 4.
Yes.
Yeah?
I mean, I don't know anything about it. I've not watched the episode. I don't know particularly a lot about the story. But
I don't know nothing about it. And
it's one of the ones that are just there. Yeah.
Probably in steelbook form, because I'm an idiot.
You're an Uber collector when it comes to steelbook. You're an Uber collector. And you've got all the other steelbooks anyway for Doctor Who,
all
so
the
you might as well
new
keep
series
going.
ones because then it goes from from all 4 volumes to the complete DVD one to the Blu-ray one to the steelbook. So much space saving. I need that. I need that space for all my things. All these new fucking steelbooks they're bringing out. Yeah, I'll watch it. I'll watch Galaxy 4. It'd be nice. It'd be weird. Like they're actually animating Hartnell for once. We've remembered that the old man does exist.
The original, you might say.
Yes, hair dry. Yes, yes. What am I looking for in this stack of shit? Oh, Monica Rambeau rumoured to return in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Mortione Paris is always looking.
Yeah.
In terms of setting her up for the Marvels, yes, please.
Marvel Vision.
Marvel Vision. Paul Chuckle stars as Dr. Eric Selvig in Mad About a Thor.
What? What?
I don't know. Here's the thing.
What?
I just tried it.
If it's one of these where the movie's timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly, and it's going to be her going somehow to interact with Doctor Strange in the future or in the past, I don't know, like, because Miss Marvel, or the Marvels, whatever you want to call it, that hasn't even begun filming, right? I know you meant it wasn't one of those 5 you mentioned earlier.
No.
So would if she's in it, would it be before the Marvels? Would it be afterwards or during?
I'm guessing before. I don't know. It depends. Well, I think that we're going to be present day with Carol and Co. Because I don't think there's another. Maybe there's some more flashes of the past and that gap between leaving Earth and then returning in Endgame. But I don't know. I'm excited for it.
Because minor spoilers for the last scene of her in WandaVision, we basically see her chat to a scroll and they tell us to go up there.
Yeah.
So what's happened? She's going to not go up there, help Doctor Strange, and then she's going to go up there? Or Doctor Strange is up there anyway? Like, what?
Maybe
I don't know.
it goes deeper than we all think.
Yeah, possibly. But I mean, yeah, it wouldn't be a bad thing.
It could be completely
we would think logically. I'd be sitting here logically going, where would it fit in her timeline? But
logically? Yes. So, yes.
Speaking of fitting in, something we know from the director of said movie, we got a trailer for yesterday, which I did send you, I think, on Instagram.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? Yes.
I'd seen it, and then I was like, I'm going to tag Connor in this. Oh, he's already sent it to me.
Well, Andy Serkis, director of Venom, Let There Be No Woody Harrelson Carnage, he's come out and said that their characters are unaware of Spider-Man. That basically Venom's in his own sort of Venom universe, and it's their own movie for now. That's how they're treating it.
Well, because it was always treated as universe adjacent in terms of the same
sister cousin universe.
MCU Netflix shows, and to an extent at the time, but more so now because they've retroactively made them non-complete canon apart from Agent Carter, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because they're sort of like it happens here, like the stuff did happen, but it's not like it's impacting directly on the story. It's like big bubble, little pocket universe. The end.
So while we're on that, did you know they've now been moved to Marvel Legacy on Disney Plus? So is that their way of saying non-canon? They've been moved. And Agent Carter as well. They've both been moved.
Agent Carter and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are still technically canon because of all the stuff that happens in it.
Exactly.
I wouldn't be surprised if they distance themselves from it because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. generally was average. That's right, average.
Have you? What, did you watch some of it? Because I'm on season 2.
I'm imminently starting my whole thing of it, and from the stories I know about it through people's reactions, because I know people on Twitter that really love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. especially. Agent Carter's great. It's fantastic. It's gone on for more than it is. That's canon because we've seen it in the movie films. The whole thing with Coulson and then S.H.I.E.L.D. and that, we've never really seen those events
guys.
unfolding
Yeah, no,
and
you,
go into
yeah.
it. Like, I know that some stuff does, and like it depends. Like, and eventually, like it gets really good. And Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider, yes, all good points. But if it takes
But I
more
think
than
the-
3 episodes, it's not great. It's such a show that I'm looking forward to sort of like enjoying as a whole, but I'm not looking forward to
The thing
like,
is-
imminent disappointment.
The first 2 seasons are the problematic ones because the first season especially because
goodness gracious!
like, Hail Hydra happened and they talk about Cap and Shield falling down and Agent Coulson essentially has got to rebuild
That's
Shield.
like the finale
That-
of season 1.
Yeah, and then that carries over
Yeah.
to season 2, which I'm still watching. So that's the area where you can argue and say, well, that's got to be canon because they're literally talking
but
about moving things.
Then it never
Like,
ties into Infinity War and Endgame, does it?
It doesn't. I don't. As far as we're aware, no.
I think after
Yeah, in the
Phase
final
2,
season, there's time travel.
it doesn't
yeah.
tie in, does it? It ties into the Phase 2 stuff, but then Phase 2...
I've read it ties into Sokovia and Ultron vaguely, but I don't know how because I've not at that point yet. It ties into Sokovia, I think. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'd say you're average. It's nothing must see, but I don't know. The characters in it
Now it's
are
not
good.
essential,
Originally, no, it isn't. Which is a bit of a. It's a bit of a.
Oh well.
For those
Who
characters,
cares?
yeah. Disney Plus, Marvel do.
I just got a notification from YouTube saying you can add captions before you publish. Cool.
Handy.
Cool.
Handy.
Definitely gonna use that. The Meg 2 begins filming early 2022. Jason Statham will be back to punch more sharks. Good.
Woo!
I hope it becomes the Fast and Furious series of ocean.
The
films.
next song, yeah, absolutely,
It's a
yeah, sure,
megalodon
I'd be
in
happy with
space,
that.
Mac. We'll do this shit no more.
Megalodon.
It's a
Speaking of megalodons and champagne problems, in America at least, Guy Ritchie's new movie called Wrath of Man is, I think it's
Wrath?
out or it's coming out very soon.
Right.
But we're not getting it till July. But Guy Ritchie's new movie with Jason Statham, originally based on a French book or movie called Cash Truck, is essentially it's like a heist in a truck. From what I understand, but he's basically a champagne
It's like
problem.
Money Heist, the
And
movie.
with a champagne problem, yeah, I think the Guy Ritchie's doing it, so hopefully it'll be in the vein of The Gentleman.
For more of a champagne problem myself. God, Hobbs and Shaw is great. Need to buy it. Did, and then I got a refund because I was like, I don't have. This is money I don't have. That was ages ago. So I was like, fuck it. Anyway, Mandalorian producer teases Force Field Season 3 and more Boba Fett adventures. Because this comes out after the Book of Boba Fett, which is due for release this December.
December. I thought they both were December. That's what I thought I read back in the day.
3-4 months ish at quickest turnaround for Mandalorian season 3, but it's not started filming yet.
Oh,
so
okay.
I would be surprised if it
Right,
was
right.
then next, like.
So
October,
you reckon it will be Boba Fett? Boba Fett will be first, and then it will be.
yes, because that's confirmed for them.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get that first. So is that gonna just show him like in between, like building the bridge between where we last saw him in Jedi to then when we see him in Mandalorian season 2, or is it going to be a whole load of new stuff like he goes off and has his own solo adventure and then we get more interactions?
Or is it going to be both? Is it going to be a slight continuation for when he becomes Boba the Hutt at the end of season 2, and then he's going to flash back into the Sarlacc pit and how he escapes? Or is it going to be like an anthology show? Or well, only time
maybe
will
like
tell.
a sort of an origin film, but in a series. Disney are good at that.
Whilst tackling him as Boba the Hutt, maybe, I don't know.
Boba the Hutt.
We'll have to see.
And they're also developing a video game, which I've said for ages they should do it a Destiny-style game that's like The Mandalorian. You get your own ships. There's no microtransactions. You actually have to earn it.
Oh, definitely not.
And you get Beskar armor for like bounties and missions and tasks, or like you get helmets and guns and stuff like after like raid-style things or heists or whatever you want to call it. Because in game world, it's all the
Bounty
same.
contracts.
Yeah.
Bounty contracts.
You get,
There you go.
you
Yeah.
get to actually fly to off worlds and have like maintain your ship. You have to get enough. What's the thing they called it? What is it? What is the thing that's their fuel? What is the name of the fuel in Star Wars?
Okay.
Star Wars fuel
alright.
for ships. Diesel? No.
Star Wars fuel for ships.
It's my favourite album from the art.
Fuel! It just comes up fuel.
What is the name? It's got a name, innit? It's like...
Rhydonium was a volatile type of fuel found on the planet Aphthar. What the hell's Aphthar?
He was in Lion King.
Malastair was a leading provider of liquid fuel to the Galactic Republic, but what fuel did the ship
start
start
with?
with?
Solo?
Sorry. Nuclear reactor.
Flying
In Solo, right?
nuclear weapons.
Solo fuel for ships.
What is the name of the fuel?
Coaxium? Coaxium? Yeah, Coaxium.
Coaxium, yes. That very famous fuel that we didn't just learn the name of, coaxium. Yes.
Coaxium gas. Yeah?
Yeah, coaxium. Yeah, you have to own coaxium and stuff. Yeah, it was the thing that we had to Google for a payoff.
And
it wasn't really that great.
Imperial credits.
Yeah.
That'll be another currency. You have Imperial credits.
Yeah. Yeah, but do it. Make it. Play it. I want it now. Just like I want Always Sunny in Philadelphia, because season 15 is being written as we speak. Literally right
good.
now.
Have you? Speaking of vaguely, what are their names? I can't read. Dennis, Mac, and Charlie.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. I think it's Charlie. Rob McElhenney on Apple TV. Fuck. That on Apple
Charlie
TV. Mythic
Charlie.
Quest. no, it ain't him. Rob Mac. Apple TV. Yes. Mythic Quest.
Yes. Is that good? Have you seen that?
No, I haven't. I was just asking. It's on my list now. I was tempted to watch it. I
don't need Apple TV because everyone was banging on about that that Jennifer Aniston show and that weird Jason Momoa show, and to watch that film of Tom Holland in Cherry, and it's like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need to spend that money. I mean, if someone wants to give me a password for their account, I'll fucking watch it. But Mythic Quest is something that's like, yeah, that could work. I would watch that, but it's like I'm not that desperate for it that I'm going to be like, I'm going to pay for this so I can watch Rob McElhenney.
Or are you gonna find the Blu-ray and see it that way?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you're a bit of a twitch there, mate. You're right. Is that the hay fever accident?
Sorry, yeah. Yeah.
More always.
Shoot, where's my mark?
I don't know why it says season 15. I think it must mean 16 because 14 was the last one. So 15 they were recording because it was during COVID. So it must mean 16 because they just renewed it for seasons 16, 17, and 18. So it must be 16 they're writing. Maybe we should look into that because 14's the last one. Because it was
Googling it. Yeah.
Season 13 was like advertised as Sunny the 13th and like all those weird like horror parodies.
Yeah, season 14. Season 14. The last episode was November 20th, 2019. Waiting for Big Mo. Season 14. So yeah, season 15 is the next season to come
season
out.
Season 14 was my favourite because they actually addressed a load of shit.
Your favourite season? Oh, okay.
The show just gets better and better, and I think rewatching it, like you see it go from that era of like American sitcom, but you know that it's run by in the same way that Rick and Morty is, like it's run by people who get it, who want to tell this story, and they know their audience. Like it starts off like it could be this, but then it just goes so much further and adapts. And when they cut the episodes down to 10 per series, and they just hit after hit, like brilliant, love it, fantastic show.
I'm on the HD. What is it? Season 6, I think, when it from 4x3 to then HD. That's where I'm at the moment. Season 6, I think. Season 6.
You've got some great stuff to come, man. Let me know when they go to the water slide. AIDS. Okay. I got AIDS. This water slide's not even open, Frank. And then he fucking slides down it and fucking gets me every time. And we also get Rick and Morty soon. We forgot to mention that.
There was a trailer, wasn't there? Not that I've seen it, but there was a trailer.
Yeah, a couple of months back we saw the trailer for season 5, and we're excited to watch that again. Just like we're excited for Stranger Things season 4.
Dun, 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 dun.
I haven't watched that.
Hopefully
show.
still this year. Hopefully still this year.
Did you watch the trailer?
I did. I can't remember it though. I'm
Neither
going to
can
have
I.
to
I was hoping
quickly.
you would.
Don't worry, I'll watch it. In
David
silence,
Harbour
you know.
Was spoiled in the first look.
Are you listening, 11? Are you listening? That was it. Yeah, that was the trailer. Sorry. Yeah, okay, I do remember. I don't need to watch it. Essentially, it's a bunch of images. There's a clock. There's
Some say that's what the
babies
show
falling
is,
in
a bunch of images stitched together for your entertainment.
bunch of
It's like this podcast.
No, so it's essentially we see hands playing chess. We see clocks. The magical. I don't know. You know, right in Shazam. You know, like those balls where you shake and you have the messages, whatever they're called.
The magic 8 ball. Don't do that.
The 8 balls, I guess. Yeah.
Those balls you shake. Oh.
One of those PG-friendly balls. You know.
Stroke my PG balls.
Signs point to yes. There's kids in a room.
Whoa, there's kids in a room.
There's kids in a room. Yeah.
Kids are in a room and stuff.
But season 4. Yeah, they're essentially in some sort of
Charlie
medical.
Day. Dave Bautista's foot. And Andy Murray's mom. Kids Club coming soon.
Kids Club. Yeah, so then the camera pans to the number 11, like the room number 11.
Oh,
Like,
they're just like her name.
And it opens with, and her eyes open, and then that's the end of the trailer. Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
nothing
God.
to
Because wait, now where is
give
she?
away.
She.
I can't remember where they all. So essentially, David Harbour was the only character, I think, memory serving me right, in the season 3 finale. I don't think none of them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's the only character where he's on and
like they tease like
yeah.
who's the American or something, and then like you
But
see
all
him
the other
straight away
kids-
in the first look at season 4, and it's like you're fucking blowing your
You
load and you're making
blown
death
it.
pointless.
Yeah. Now, what I was getting at, as far as I'm aware, he was the only character that was in like this weird sort of ambiguity, like what the hell has happened to him? Every other character, the kids are just
And then
out
they
in the
announced it
street.
just
I
straight
think
away. Didn't they? It was like, yeah, this happened.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, I know they popped up with David Harbour, but
Oh
they
my
could have
God,
kept
I
that
can't
going.
believe he's dead. Oh, he's still alive. Oh no.
Oh, he's here. Yeah, he's just shaved his head. He's had a haircut. He's had a haircut.
Oh, for you, the audience.
Um,
But then 11 either runs away, or
yeah,
is
he
trapped
must.
down
He
there
must. Yeah.
closing the wall, the magic wall. She like stitches.
Season 4 predictions. We're straight.
I don't
Casey
remember
predicts
season
season
2.
4.
That's the problem. I'm like,
Season 2.
did that
Um,
happen in season 2 or season? I think it was season 3. Yeah, like they're closing it and then.
season 3 is they're in the mall. Billy died because he was possessed by the thing, the Mind Flayer. I think the
Yeah.
Mind Flayer. And so essentially they win. They defeat the monster. David Harbour and Winona Ryder in like some lab, and he
Yeah,
stays
it's the
behind
Russians,
the
isn't
sort of
And they
shuttle
react to
reactor.
the future.
Yeah, but what I was getting at was everyone is fine apart from him, which they then revealed that he's still alive. So maybe 11 does do a runner. Maybe she's just fed up. Maybe she's
Or she
going. I don't know.
Somewhere, like she
Maybe.
literally only gets stuck in. I don't know. Season 4 Stranger Things. You definitely watch
She
it.
senses David Harbour, so then she
That
goes for a
sense of
run, and that's when
disturbance
she
in the
gets
David
captured.
Harbour.
She
He's
senses
married to
disturbance
Lily
in the
Allen all of a sudden.
Hellboy. That was random couple.
Oh, they're so sweet. And we got the trailer for. We spoke about it earlier.
Yes, vaguely. Yes,
Eddie,
but we did.
I think we should eat Mrs. Patterson. No, you can't eat Mrs. Patterson.
Yeah,
Like,
Mrs.
what?
Patterson.
Can I just ask? So Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, or just stylized as Venom, Let There Be Carnage? That's how I read that scrawly writing. Carnage, I'll get you, my Carnage, and your little symbiote too. Released in October, but then it got delayed again, didn't it? Like the other day, it got delayed.
Oh, September the 15th.
It got delayed
I
again.
think.
I think it's like October, November.
Did it actually? Really?
I'm pretty sure it got delayed.
Everywhere.
Again.
Everywhere I've googled, it just says September the 15th, like everywhere.
I don't know. I don't care. This film looks shit.
It just says September 2021. No, one of my friends said if I can pull the message up, it just literally, he said it was like, think it looks spectacularly dreadful in a good way. Well, that might have been you. Was that what you said? I said that to another person.
That's me. I'm your friend.
It looks dreadful in a good way. No, you put that. Okay. I thought it was the other way around, but yeah, it looks dreadful in a good way. They're your words.
Yeah. Did I say that? That was the thing I said. Yeah. Because I think we can both agree that Carnage, the first Venom, is
the first Venom, 2018,
terrible, but in a way that makes you laugh because it's like
it's
like
amusing in a weird way.
Like you can tell Tom Hardy wanted to get in that lobster tank and eat a fake lobster. At least I hope it was fake. Wouldn't put it past him to eat a real one. And the fact that Venom's like, in my pleasure, I'm kind of a loser like you. And there's that weird symbiotic relationship. And the thing that
Venom is a fucking planet-devouring alien that needs to bond with he needs to bond with a human, but he chooses to bond with a human so he can crush the puny Spider-Man. In this, he's a fucking comedian.
Who does he bond with in the comics first?
Peter Porker, Spider-Ham himself. Spider-Man.
Yeah,
our hero.
So I think our main issue with it, especially mine, I think you're on the same, but also you just...
it's not the character.
Point where you're just like, fuck it, Sony do what they want, because they do. Venom looks like Venom because of Spider-Man. Spider-Man gets infected, like the symbiote like latches onto him in the suit, and like you see it's done semi-okay in the first 45 minutes of Spider-Man 3. And
sure.
Venom's a big part of like 90s Spider-Man because everyone loves him, and he's like a symbiote. He's like evil Spider-Man, and he's a symbiote, so he takes on affects the host, like makes you stronger and that, but also like brings out the anger, and that's the whole thing with Peter. Like that's where he then like ditches the symbiote suit, but then that's now got the imprint of memories of like, because it's alive, so it remembers like the wall crawling, the webs and stuff like that. So it becomes like a suit in itself, which makes the wearer Spider-Man, mainly Eddie Brock, someone who was wronged by Peter and the Daily Bugle. So they have a connection.
Yeah.
They don't really know, but Spider-Man is both their enemy. Blah blah blah. That's what makes him fun, and that's what makes him look like Venom. But in this, he looks like Venom because things. I'm assuming he won't get like the spider emblem until an eventual, because like we said, Venom adjacent universe. Amy Pascal was like, they could cross paths someday, after not obviously speaking to Kevin Feige in that interview, because he's like, wait, what the fuck? You haven't asked me. Probably more likely now because Kevin Feige's been moved to a higher up position, so that's why they shoved Michael Keaton in the Morbius trailer. More on that, I have to say, in a second.
Okay, no worries.
It's my theory. It's a theory that I'm adapting to this whole Sonyverse.
Hasty predicts. Yeah.
Venom exists because of Spider-Man, and there's no Spider-Man in it. Not even a mention, not even a thing, like not even an acknowledgement of the Tom Holland version. If that is,
they haven't even met.
But say he never uses any spider-like powers in Venom. It's jumping and making a motorcycle stick to your back, and he sweats a lot. Now we're getting Carnage, who's basically eviler Venom because a serial killer uses him. Primarily, Cletus Cassidy. It's red, but they've gone on the route of making Venom an anti-hero, and then Carnage v Venom is the thing. It's almost like they've just replace of like, let's, instead of you get Spider-Man Venom and then Spider-Man Carnage is worse because Carnage can't be detected through Spidey sense, blah blah blah, and Venom looks worse than, what were the symbiotes that they use in Venom? Because you see about 4 or 5 of them. Riot.
I think Riot was Riz Ahmed, and then I can't remember the others. Yeah, Riot is like the main one. I can't remember.
I can say though.
Yes.
Woody Harrelson's hair looks a lot better. Now
yes, thank God.
Ronald McDonald mop on his head. He looks better.
Yeah, no.
Because I think they dyed. They dyed his hair. What the fuck am I saying? Because he doesn't have hair. They they've given him a better quality wig and dyed it a slightly different shade because it was literally like big fucking because he looks like Sideshow Bob essentially in the comics.
Yeah,
So then the wig they're
yeah.
using on him now
He's not.
is like still curly in that, but it's a lot shorter. It looks more like he has that hair on his head than opposed to.
Yeah, totally.
When they get out,
Yeah.
there's gonna be carnage. I hope there's not.
Carnage.
I hope there's not a lot of that shit in there.
No.
Imagine how tragic it would be.
Um,
But no, it looks like there's the weird bit when he's cooking him dinner, and then like that kind of stuff looks fun when it's clearly like CGI mixed with practical effects of them like pulling Tom Hardy from like pillar to post as like the Venom symbiote is then trying to make like waffles and eggs and stuff like that, and as he's just trying to have his orange juice and he's getting jutted about that. I like them when he sits at the table and Venom sort of like throws like the weird piles of waffles and shit together and he just looks at it and Venom squeezes the sauce like onto Eddie because that's clearly a fucking like a shot taken at him like with like I think an air pressure cannon or something like we've got.
Yeah, surely.
That kind of stuff's great. The symbiote relationship is weird because there's almost like an underlying. They put in an underlying sexual like tension between like the symbiote and Eddie because like when he takes on like, his girlfriend uses it and then that becomes Lady Venom and then he has to kiss her to get it back, but it's essentially Venom kissing Eddie in a weird sort of
exactly. Yeah, maybe they weren't trying to intend that, but like you say, you can't deny that. Like, going over the first movie with that scene,
and it looks
you can't, you know, ignore it.
It looks like they're a bit mercenary-ish / anti-hero because like one of the shop owners is being paid to be like looked after or protected. It was like maybe like a side hustle because he hasn't worked for the Bugle yet or something. I don't know.
No, as far as we're aware, he's not even met Peter Parker. He hasn't mentioned Jonah Jameson. He hasn't mentioned the Bugle. You see the Bugle in the trailer. It's the newspaper clarifying that it's not the same .net that it's in the Far From Home and the MCU.
Well, because it's still, I think it's still a publication thing. But then Jonah's
it has to be,
sort of like the weird, like
digital stuff,
podcasty element of like having it as an online sort of. Conspiracy thing. Like those American kind of like channels that you like find that kind of stuff and like, people shouting into microphones like that, which works for the Daily Bugle in this day and age, essentially. My thing. So going back to Morbius because it's
your theory.
To be fair, some of the shots look great, and I think there's a step in. This is definitely a stepping stone for Andy Serkis. So like, this is what he can do with a budget and on the big time. I look forward to it and what it says, and obviously he's a man who's been in the MCU, so like you said,
he's been around in the industry as well. Like Andy Serkis is a bit of a name.
No, in terms of like the story and that, and like knowing the feel, like he knows the feel of the mark, so he's like the most MCU type director they could have to make it feel like
100%.
MCU version, but it's still got that rating. And they're not wearing Spider-Man, or are they? Because Morbius. I don't know when this was, I think it was a while ago. Morbius possibly not set in the MCU universe and maybe tying into Doctor Strange more than we know. Because obviously, like we saw that set photo ages ago when it was like stuff in Manchester when you had the the Spider-Man poster, which was, the screen grab of them launching the Sam Raimi suit in the Spider-Man PS.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Raimi's suit.
Yeah.
There's also Venom graffiti in some of those shots people have found, like a little like black smudge eyes and a crooked smile. Yeah, and the font of the Daily Bugle is that of the Raimi universe, and there is a front page saying "Where has Spidey gone?" And it's literally the front page is that big like black headline, and then the planet is like for some reason is the photo, possibly suggesting that or not. Possibly the whole Sony universe, but at least exists maybe in a multiverse scenario to compensate for them not knowing who or where Spider-Man is. Maybe that carries over
that brings
Silver and Black and all that other shit they're going to do.
But that's another question. Which Spider-Man are you on about? Are they going
So
to
does
then
it exist in the
retroactively
Raimi
make
universe,
it Raimi?
essentially?
Or is this a Garfield? Or is this... Well, yeah, Raimi. It has to be Raimi. Yeah, I'll say it could be Garfield.
His font,
Yeah,
stuff
Raimi.
like that. You see Garfield denying that he's in it, when they sort of like backpedaled on it. They did an interview like, no, I'm not in it, like, unless like they're gonna have me late in the day and that, and I just haven't had a call. Like, there's nothing for me to tell, there's nothing for me to spoil, which makes me think that either he's completely playing it and he is it, like they are all in it because we know that Molina is, and it would be weird to have a villain from each sort of Spider-Man era and then not have if
And not have the
Garfield's the one
heroes.
that they leave
Yeah.
out, shit move.
It is. It would be. It would be.
But I don't know. It's weird. So is the bigger Spider-Verse thing being drawn in from these Sonyverse spin-offs
Is-
and then going to feed into
Is it going to implode?
No Way
Yeah,
Home
in
and
Doctor
sort of
Strange.
then be
Yeah.
like, well, it has to link to the MCU because of the whole multiverse stuff. Blah blah blah. That's
Yeah,
how
and
they
that's
get
how
in.
they get around it.
And
Yeah,
maybe
that's how they get
Michael
around it.
Keaton isn't Vulture in Morbius.
Oh, in Morbius. Yeah,
Or-
okay, that's a shout. Yeah,
He
Yeah.
is, but he's obviously from another universe.
from that universe. Right. Okay. Yeah.
Possibly.
So when we watch.
That's how they.
So when
I
we wa-
think they're skirting around the legal thing.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Until
okay.
Marvel
no.
buy out, until Disney buy out Sony and have Spider-Man complete as a whole, because that will happen, I think, within the next 5 to 10 years. In some way, Disney will then get their hands on the whole Sony property and have it all together, and then because that's what the thing is. Like, I think the stumbling block of their new contract was they wanted creative control, or at least to know what was happening in the Sonyverse movies.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
obviously
So then,
wanted a couple of
when
movies as well, because basically Marvel pay for them and make them, and then Sony distribute them and then get the money for the box office, unless he's in a team up, like in an actual full-on Marvel Studios one, and then they get the money from that, and Sony get a percentage. I think like 20% of the back end. So 20% of the back end of Endgame. Fair play.
I mean, that's a bit of an income. Yeah, that's a bit.
Quite a bit of an income.
Um,
Like I wish we would get
yeah.
on this here podcast. I look forward to Venom Let There Be Carnage in a way that I would describe as ironic. Because it's
It
probably gonna be
is.
shit.
It is a weird ironic.
Like I don't
Yeah.
like Venom. At
Cautiously
points, it's
optimistic.
boring, but it's also funny in places because it is so shitty. And I can't wait for us to
I think-
dissect it soon.
For me, I still think the best scene out of the Tom Hardy Venom run we've had is the first fight scene. Right? I mean, even the behind the scenes of that is fascinating. Where you see Tom Hardy not wanting to fight and punch the people, and then the tentacle sort of comes out of his back and punches the enemies. He's like, "Oh, it's not me, I swear." Like that still fight scene. However many times you watch it, it's still a good, cool scene. I think that's the best moment we've had with it so far. But that's at the beginning of the first movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully something could get topped. Maybe Woody Harrelson, best thing, the MCU / Sony that has been.
He might be ironically like the best MCU villain that we
Yeah,
get.
exactly. MCU. Maybe.
Let's see.
I don't know.
Let's see, shall we?
Cautiously optimistic. Yeah.
I'm cautiously optimistic as well. So I think that concludes just about everything that we can really say this week, because that was a nice one. We are hopefully having this be our last episode in separate rooms. And
7 days. Well, 5 days by the time this comes out, but for us, 7 days.
yeah, and thank you for the
Yeah.
amazing response for it coming out on Friday. We're doing more I'm just where it's like us at the moment, and like me with the social media side, it is hard to sort of keep on top of like having it every day, but we're going to get to a point where we're posting every day and more regular and more traffic and blah 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 blah. But thank you for the positive response. We are on the way to being in the same room, and hopefully that will cheer some of you up, or it'll make more of you miserable.
Cheer me up.
Am I bothered? A little bit, yes.
Vaguely. Yeah. Yeah. No more laggy audio.
We should put
I've
one
not
of them in
lagged
for
once,
fun.
have I?
Put one of them in for
I've
fun.
not lagged.
And as we
Have I lagged once today?
No, not today, but you probably jinxed it now. It's gonna crash, so we might as well quickly wrap this up. Connor, where can they send emails to if they want us to talk about them?
The one and only nerdbiblecontact@gmail.com.
And if you want to get in contact with us throughout the week, follow @SpaceySheep across Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's been a pleasure as always for me to chew Connor's ear off. Not cheer for him. Was that it? Yay, Mike Tyson! Oh, I nearly forgot the cliffhanger. And as always, thank you for listening and watching. Until next time, I will leave you with.
Alright.
I find these by accident now. Like I do it, and it's like until I know. Like when I'm in the episode, I'm like, I know that I'm going to drop this. Possibly less of a piss takey one for you. Apparently,
Right.
a new MonsterVerse movie that is being floated around at the minute for a sequel to Godzilla vs. Kong is being referred to internally as the Son of Kong. Making a son.
Oh
making a Son of
my
Kong MonsterVerse movie.
goodness! Yeah, I kind of heard about that.
Shit.
But again, we've not seen Godzilla vs. Kong, so I can't comment on it. Or the original film. I can't comment on either.
Until then,
But,
I will find a better cliffhanger.
3-1. Or I don't know how many. Is that your fourth one? Is that your third one? I don't know.
Full value.
Last couple you've been doing them, yeah.
But anyway.
Yes. Yeah, that's all. I can't think of. I'm going to have to try and come up with something. But not today.
But not today. Anyway, thank you very much, as always, Connor, and you, the audience. And we will see you next week. And he does that
and
thing. There we go.
Yeah. I'll get to it. This is the last time I'll be doing it from this lovely room. And I'll tell you, George, as well, to stay pasty till I get reunited with you next week. Next week.
Not long. Start the countdown.
Start the countdown. Go on Instagram stories, tag your friends, let the world know that you can go in your best friend's house and the cinemas are open. Anyway, yes, next week, woohoo, Viva la Revolution. Yeah, bye-bye.